You may have lost your temper this week, right? It may have been today. I don't know when you're watching this video. It could have been an hour ago. But let's say you yelled, you snapped, you said something you wish you could take back. And what have you been doing ever since that moment? Be honest. What have you been doing? You probably be carrying it. What's it? Guilt, shame. You're probably replaying the moment in your head over and over. And now you're asking yourself, did I mess my child up? Dear parent, let's talk about it. Yelling. Okay. So the thing about yelling is that there have been moments, I can be honest with y'all and say, as a father, where I raised my voice. Right now, saying that, I'm even thinking that I raised my voice this morning when I took them to school. But when you raise your voice, immediately what happens after? For me, sometimes like my stomach gets tied in knots. I've heard people talk about the tightness in their chest. Some people talk about how red they get in the face or how things get really quiet. Some people talk about they don't even want to look at their child after they're done yelling. But that moment when you yell, you start to say or ask, why did I do that? And then that horrible voice comes in. You're doing damage. And you know what's wild? You even think that even when nothing catastrophic has happened, even your child has moved on. But we as parents, we don't. You know, we don't move on because we can't just experience the moment for what it is. We end up carrying the meaning of the moment. And that's hard. That's really hard to do. Because it's not that we don't just remember what happened. More specifically, because I know I do this. That's why we're talking about it today. Think about it. When you yell, you end up attaching a story to it. A good parent wouldn't do that, right? This is how trauma starts, right? Or I'm becoming the very thing I said I wouldn't be. And so now that moment that you yell, it's over. But why are you still carrying that weight? It's hard. I go through this quite often. And so I want to share space for us to break down what actually happens when we as parents yell. And so yelling is not random. I do believe that. Think of yelling as a release of accumulated pressure. So stress builds up. Lord knows frustration builds up. We definitely know that emotional fatigue builds. And so when all of that stuff comes together, it comes out, right? And here's the part we as parents, we don't talk enough about. So it doesn't just come out as volume when you yell. It comes out as a sharp tone, harsh words, we're cursing sometimes. It may even be the intensity our children feel. But it's that intensity. See, that's the stuff that lingers for us as parents. And it's not even for them. No, it's definitely for us. That intensity lingers with us. And so we need to be mindful around what goes on for us as parents after we yell. Because here's where most parents get stuck, including yours truly. That's why we're here to talk about it. So real quick, when I say stuck, I'm talking about you don't move forward. You loop. So you keep replaying the moment. You keep overanalyzing what you said. You question your ability as a parent. And whenever I've seen parents get there, me, my wife, other folks, they go in so many different directions. I've seen people emotionally withdraw. I've seen some parents overcompensate. Or I've seen parents just avoid addressing it altogether. When all of us should be focusing on repairing, what are we doing? You spiral. I spiral. I'm a bad parent. I'm failing. I'm hurting my child. See, that's shame. That's shame. See, shame is what keeps us from being stuck in the moment because we're taking one moment and we're flipping that into our own identity. That's dangerous. I've learned for myself that doesn't help my mental health because yelling is not the end of our parenting story. I know it ain't the end for me. We got to look at it as a moment inside of it because what matters most is not that you yelled, that I yelled. That's not it. But to focus on what are we doing after? You see that? It's the after piece that is the most important piece. We have to think about after. Don't get stuck on the yelling. Let me give you something most parents were never taught, including myself. I definitely know I wasn't taught this. Repair is more powerful than perfection. Think about it. Look, our children don't need you and I to be perfect parents. No one said that. No child said that. They need a parent who can do a few things pretty consistently. Like one, take accountability. So what does that mean? Folks, we got to own our behaviors as parents. We can't do it blaming our kids. So not the, you made me mad, right? Not that. We want to say things such as, I didn't handle it well. That's my bad. I own that, right? So take accountability. Second, we got to reconnect. And what that means is we got to re-enter the emotional space with your child. Don't play games. Don't go in there trying to avoid. Don't play pretending games like it didn't happen. Don't do that. Come back. Be present. Be intentional. Because it's important for them. We also have to model emotional responsibility. So this is where you want to show your child, when I mess up, I take responsibility for it. And I've learned as a dad that that is one of the most powerful lessons a child can ever learn. It's a big deal to be able to do that. Emotional responsibility. And so there's a repair idea that I want to share with you all when you yell. So after you yell, step one, regulate yourself first. Okay. Don't go back still triggered. That doesn't make any sense. If you're hot, if you're upset, if you're mad, don't worry about it. Go off to the side, take a few breaths, step away, go outside, splash some cold water on your face, bring your body temperature down. Because you cannot repair from a dysregulated state, guys. You can't. The second thing I want you guys to think about is reconnect with your child. Be simple and just be honest. Hey, daddy shouldn't have yelled like that. That's it. That's all you have to say. Nothing else. Because that helps with step three, which is just take responsibility. Don't justify. Don't be in there explaining. I tell my parents that all the time. Don't be in there justifying, because you know why? Because the moment you justify to your children, you end up shifting responsibility back onto them. And that really confuses them. It does. Think about it. So instead, you want to say something like, I didn't handle that well. You see that, folks? See how it's clean, it's clear, and it's accountable. CCA, clean, clear, accountable. And step four, reassure your connection with your babies. I love you. I'm still here. You see, that moment is what I've learned. That moment right there. See, that's where the trust is built. It's not even broken. It's not. You will see your kid's face light up. And so I don't want people watching this to be trapped in the, I need to be a perfect parent who never yells. No one said that. That's not even in the manual. You don't need to be a parent who never yells. I want y'all to focus on, you need to be the parent who knows how to come back. Because that is what shapes your child the most. You're talking to a therapist. You see, it's not the moment you lost control. And I know that's hard because like no one wants to yell at their kids, but it's the moment you took responsibility for it. That right there. That right there. That's healing. That's repair. That's what the kids will remember. And so if you yelled this morning, 5 minutes ago, I don't want you to be asking yourself, did I ruin everything? Stop that. Stop it. Instead, I want you to focus on, am I willing to repair with my child? See, that's the better question. Because that's what your child will remember. They're not going to remember the moment you lost it. You'll have grace for that. We're parents. But they will remember the moment you came back. The minute you came back, that's important to them. And so, before we go, if you've ever had a moment like this that we've been talking about, yelling and carrying on, cursing, all of that, if you've ever walked away from your child and you think about it around all the guilt you've been carrying, the shame or the regret, I need you to do something with those feelings. First, like this video, please. So another parent sitting in that same guilt right now, they can find this message. I mean, you're here, so you might as well pass on the good words. Second, subscribe to Dear Parent, because these are the conversations we're going to keep having. These conversations right here, the real ones, the honest ones, the ones we as parents carry every day, but we're not saying out loud. Third, I want you to go down in these comments. And I want people to be real. Think about it. Have you ever lost your temper and carried it with you after? So I've been down in the comments. What did that moment make you feel like? Because remember, this is a space for all of us where you don't have to hide that. And finally, turn on that bell, that notification, because I don't want people to miss the next message. Please don't. Who knows? The next message might be the one you need on the next hard day. Because this stuff is hard. Parenting is hard. I know. I've been in the game for 4 years. And our twins, they give us a lot every day. And I think about a lot and I feel a lot. And I know you do too. And yeah, I didn't like yelling myself when I was growing up. So I know how it feels to think about when you yell, you're thinking on behalf of your kids. That's what makes you a great parent. The fact that you're even thinking about the implications of your actions on your kid, I think that makes you an amazing parent. Not everyone thinks like that, but you do. And so I don't want people to be stuck in that shame and guilt. I know many times I have. But you know what's really wild though? And I always joke with my wife about this is that if you don't stay stuck in that shame and that guilt, but you go and focus on that repair, like for our twins, them jokers have a short-term memory. The minute I say, Daddy's sorry, Daddy's messed up, that's my bad, I should not have done that, I'm wrong for that, these jokers, they just start smiling. Like cheesing sometimes. And I'm sitting there, like, that's it? That's all I had to say? Like, it's like a 180, y'all. Think about it. Go try it. If you think I'm not, go try it. Because I know, at least for our kids, like when my wife and I, when we focus on that repair, these jokers do a complete 180. All the tears go away. They're flush in the face, like they're everything's back to normal. But now they're slick because, they're 4. So they try to take that moment of repair, start asking for things like, can we go to Fun City? And I want to jump on Daddy's back. Like they really move on. And it's not until I started seeing that over and over and over again with both of them. I'm like, yo, like they moved on. All I had to do was do that. So if they've moved on and they were the ones who I offended, why am I still stuck feeling this shame and this guilt. I know you've thought about that. Don't fake the funk. I know you've thought about that. But that's the part that we're here to talk about because we are human. It was one of the most important things I had to learn when our twins were born was like I had to keep tapping back into my humanity. It was a gift to myself. It's a gift that I keep reminding my wife when she has her hard moments as well. I say it to my clients who are parents. You're human too. You watching this, you're human. And yeah, we love our babies and we're really, really mindful and we want to be intentional. But none of this is going to keep going well if we keep losing ourselves in it. Our babies, they love us. And we are going to try better. And that's why we're here. That's why I created this channel. I'm not perfect. We're going to have some really good, amazing conversations. And so please, please come back. Turn that notification on. Send this to a friend or anyone who you believe like could really benefit from it. Because again, the next message, we're going to get deep. They'll keep getting deeper. And so think about what we talked about. It's okay if you yelled. No one's going to be traumatized. Just focus on the repair. And you'll realize you'll get way more smiles and hugs back and relief. And I think that's the reassurance that you need as a parent. Because I know I always need that whenever I repair with the twins and they look at me and they're ready to move on. It makes it easier for me to move along with them. So dear parent, you're not a bad parent. You're a human one. I'll see y'all in the next message. Peace.